Okay, hi guys. Welcome back to Authentic Aura episode 2. So, obviously I'm at home today. I'm in my daughter's room. um because David had a live event on his on High Vibe last night. There was an 8-hour long show. And then he came home and it was really late, obviously. So then he slept in. And so I've been with Aurora on my own because my nanny's, she usually comes Tuesdays and Thursdays, but she's on vacation in Europe. So I've been all on my own with Aurora for a long time, many hours. And it gets really exhausting when you're in your third trimester, almost 32 weeks pregnant. And yeah, I just was like overstimulated. So if my makeup looks a mess, it's because I did it earlier today. And then obviously I've been watching her all day. And then I cried for a minute because I was very overstimulated and there was just a lot to not have a break at all for a long time. It becomes a lot, especially when you're pregnant. It just like adds another layer. So, anyways, yeah, I'm glad that I get to be doing this show today though, because I could have just been like, you know what, it's too much. I'm not going to do it. All these things stacked against me, but maybe it's Saturn and Pisces that I still want to do it. It's like an outlet for me and it's something I've always loved to do. And I just rather push through and do it. My plan is to do as many episodes as possible until I go on maternity leave, which is like probably around 37 weeks I'll go. But like if I still feel great, maybe I'll still go up until I give birth. We'll see. But so my plan is to hopefully have 7 episodes before I give birth. We'll see. And then obviously once I'm done with postpartum leave or whatever and I start feeling myself and I have a way to do the show and feel like he can be watched by someone for that time, and I will be back. So yeah, I'm excited that I get to be here with you guys. And this chair is super comfortable. It's like a rocking blue clay like recliner chair. I used to nurse Aurora on this when she was little. I think we're gonna put this in Asher's room for the nursery. So yeah, we've got to put together his nursery still. We just got to see him on the ultrasound yesterday. It was so cute. His face looks a lot like Aurora to me. Like there was a picture of him in the ultrasound of him like sleeping on his hand, and it reminded me so much of Aurora when she would nurse when she was little, newborn, and she would fall asleep with like with her hands on her face, and I was like, it looks just like Aurora. Anyways, so I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions because I really wanted to know what you guys wanted to know. I wanted to do kind of a Q&A, but also I have a lot of topics and a lot came to me today that I want to discuss and talk about. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I should do a couple questions up front and then I will go into this and then do a couple questions at the end too. So someone asked, having kids, I just feel like a piece of life, the party will be over. Help. Okay. So having kids is going to change your life completely. It changes everything, right? Changes your relationships. It changes your relationship with yourself. There's probably not one area of your life that is not affected by having children. I did not give it that much thought before. I always had a calling to be a mother. I always wanted to be a mom. I always knew I wanted to have kids before I was like a certain age. I just wanted to be younger. I wanted to just experience that at a younger age. And yeah, kept feeling the calling of my soul to be a mom, and I really felt called to do it. I didn't give it much like thought of how much it was going to change my life, and I don't think you'll ever fully know that until you go through it. So it's just something kind of you just have to go through. I don't think it's really important to fully know. Maybe it could be better if you don't fully know, but so yeah, David and I decided 3 months into our relationship that we wanted to have children, a baby, and we didn't give it much thought, which is fine, I think, because it worked out great for us. But it's a journey and it's a transformational journey, and I'm so grateful for it because yes, it's hard, and yes, it's a lot to go through. It's a big transformation, death and rebirth experience, especially for women. Um, but it's like an ego death. Once you, because you're literally letting go of your old life, your old identity, everything, and that's for the dad and the mom. But once you learn to embrace that and surrender to it, which it can take a while, it took a while for me. I did have like, a little bit of like, FOMO or wanting to get back into my old life in a way like of, oh, I was modeling or doing this, not the partying though, because I was so over partying. I don't get how people party for that long in their lives. Like I started partying at like 15, obviously, like around high school age. And I was like 23 and I was so over it. I'm like, how do people still want to go to a freaking club and go party? It's like so lame and such a waste of energy. I don't get how people party for 10, 20 years of their lives and not get bored of it. I was just like outgrown of that phase. So I don't miss that, but I was just like kind of missed that freedom and that all of that at the beginning. But I also loved being a mom, obviously. But once I really surrendered and embraced it and like fell in love with my new life, I would never, ever, ever trade my life now for my old life. I would never want to go back to my old life. I would, even if I didn't have kids, I would never go back to that old life. Like, I just wouldn't want that. It was so, you don't realize how meaningless that type of life is until you're built a life of meaning and you have that anchor of your own family you built and your own family unit that you've built. It's like nothing else, really. And it's just like everything changes. You see the value in things differently, like going to little things, little events, little photo shoots, little whatevers is like so meaningless. Like the value of your time raises so much and what you put your energy into that you just kind of, this is if you embrace motherhood instead of resist it. This is a different experience, right? But if you embrace motherhood fully and let it transform you and you accept it, you elevate to another level. Honestly, that's what's happened for me. I'll just speak for myself. I just feel like my time is more valuable. I value it more. And it really puts you into a higher bracket. I just feel that. And you also just have that anchor of your little family unit you've built that really anchors you and guides you, I feel, in a way. You make decisions based off of that. And you're just a better person, more elevated person, and a more wiser, mature person. That is something only motherhood, parenthood could do. So it just changes everything. So it's really hard to, when someone asks that question, when they haven't stepped into that journey yet, it's really hard to explain it in a way that fully makes sense because it's something you really just have to go through for it to make sense. But it changes the entire paradigm, the entire lens you're looking through. So it's hard to be like, you're still in that old lens because you haven't went into this journey yet. So it's hard to be like, oh, you look through it through this lens because you haven't been there yet. So it's just going to change everything. But it's for the better. Like, oh, people get so scared of being parents nowadays, especially Gen Z, my generation, they're like avoiding it and putting it off because, oh, it's going to be hard, or the party's over, like this person said, which I'm not talking down about that. I get that because, it's something that can be a hard thing to let go of your old life. But what's on the other side is so much better if you embrace it and if you let it transform you. There's definitely a difference of being a mom and resisting it and being like, no, I still want to go out with my same friends and do the same thing and waste energy here and go to things that just aren't valuable for my time and like be the old person I used to be. That is obviously going to make you more miserable. That's going to make you feel like, oh my God, like everything's so hard, motherhood's so hard. It's because you're resisting it. You're trying to hold on to your old identity that's over. And if you embrace your new identity and let it transform you and to this better version of yourself, that's when you see the beauty that motherhood brings you and all the gifts it brings you. But there is a distinction there. And I think some people, and maybe the people who say, I hate motherhood, or they don't get it, it's because there's so much resistance and holding on to their old ego. And so they're not fully experiencing what they could within it. But for me, and I'll speak from my personal experience only because everyone's different, but it's been the biggest blessing ever. And I'm just such in a better place in like every way. And it makes you work on yourself more. It makes you utilize your time in a better way because you have less me time or whatever, but it makes you use your time with so much more intention and get so much more out of your time that you would have never gotten if you didn't go through this. So even if you have less time to do things, you actually get more done, which is the crazy thing. So it's just a gift in so many ways of maturing and realizations that you just really have to go through to get it, I guess. And it's such a gift. That's why I am sad for so many people who are convinced by like media and like the society nowadays to not have kids. It's going to end your life. It's like, yeah, it's going to end your meaningless life. The meaningless parts of it, the parts that aren't valuable, the parts that aren't really creating anything of substance in your life, that part of your life and ego may be left behind, but something much greater will be born if you embrace it and allow it to happen. So, yeah, I think that's a big distinction. I also think that a big thing I think is important is not letting yourself go as a mom, staying hot as a mom, whatever that may mean for you. It can mean different things for everyone, but it's important for so many reasons, but I just don't know why you would want to let yourself go. I'd feel horrible if I did, but just like you should want to get back in shape. You should want to continue working on yourself. I don't get the whole like looking a mess. Like even I went to a newborn class with Aurora, like a lot of the other moms, and they all had babies like around the same time I did. So it was like a newborn class. We all went like 4 weeks postpartum or whatever it started. And it was like an 8-week class. And I like even 4 weeks postpartum, and I was taking care of a baby, nursing a baby all day, getting her ready. I was still doing my makeup and getting ready. I'm not saying if you're not into makeup, you don't have to do makeup, but I'm saying just put some effort into your life. Like I will never be one to let myself go because something's hard in my life or motherhood is hard or whatever. Like you should always invest in yourself and keep working on yourself and bettering yourself and present yourself in a good way because have you ever heard that phrase, dress for the job you want, not the job you have? How you present yourself and how much effort you put into yourself, that manifests things, that attracts things into your life. Or if you don't put effort, that's going to not attract the good things you want. And it's going to attract like low effort experiences, quality of life, whatever. Like it's so important to put effort into yourself. And it also teaches yourself to value yourself, and that reinforces that you have value, and it's really important. So it's also important to show other young women who are growing up that moms can still be amazing and still look amazing and still value themselves. Like you don't just turn into nothing. Like that's such a narrative nowadays. I always say like, oh, it's going to destroy my body. It's going to make me like let myself go. I'm going to look horrible. I'm going to hate my life. It's like, this is another reason us as moms need to keep putting effort into ourselves to show the younger generations that you can be a mom and have it all plus more. So I think it bothers me that much more when I see other moms and they just use it as an excuse to not put effort in anymore and to just let go. And it's like, you should actually be putting in more effort. And I know motherhood's hard. I know it's draining. I know there's nights you don't sleep at all. So I'm not saying that it has to be a fashion show every day, but for me it will always be because that's just who I am as a Libra rising. But at least put a little effort into yourself in some ways, and you will also feel better about yourself and your mental health will be better. If I did not put effort in myself, it would make me feel worse. So like you feel better when you care about yourself and you put that energy into yourself. So it matters for so many reasons, and yeah, it's just important. And it's important to care what your husband thinks of you too. You should want to look good for your husband. You should want to get back in shape for your husband. And I'm not into the modern feminism craziness where you guys want to be men or something. Masculine energy. I'm not into being in my full masculine energy. I am very in my feminine energy and a feminine woman, which I think is the best way to live in my personal opinion, because if you want to have a feminine, soft flow of a life with very sensual, just flow energy in your life where you can live a feminine life, then you must embody feminine energy. But if you want to live a hard masculine life, then yeah, embody masculine energy. You'll attract more of that in, and then you'll live a very difficult, hard masculine life. But that's not what I want to live. So it's really important to embody the energy that you want to experience. And I really do live a very feminine life. I have a very, obviously motherhood's difficult, but motherhood's a very feminine thing. It's difficult in feminine ways. And I have a very beautiful, aesthetic, feminine life that I live because that's the energy I embody. And that's why I am married to a masculine man that's actually, which I'm so grateful for. That's what you like attract in. If you're feminine, you attract the equal of the masculine. And he handles all the masculine things in life so that I can be feminine. And that's another thing is like, to be fully in your feminine, you do have to have a masculine in your life. And I know, again, the feminists are going to be triggered. But it's not that, because the feminists' favorite mantra is, I don't need a man. That's their favorite mantra. But kind of do. If you want to be feminine. If you want to be in your masculine energy, that's fine. But I'm saying if you want to be in your true feminine energy, truly relaxed, your nervous system truly in alignment, because we're meant to be in our feminine energy as women. But people want to be like, we have both in us. We have masculine and feminine, both. Okay, we all have, everything's made up of both. But your main energy as a woman, in order to manifest the best in your life, to live the most aligned, nervous system regulated life, is feminine energy. You're a woman, okay? So why I'm saying that is because masculine energy is initiative energy. So it comes first. People are like so triggered by this, but it's just how energy works. And masculine energy is like the container for the feminine energy, okay? So everyone can be in their masculine energy, every man, woman, whatever. You can be on that on your own. But for feminine energy to truly flourish and blossom and for you to fully experience it, it has to have masculine energy come first. It has to have a masculine there to contain it, to hold it, it's just the first step. Is initiative energy. Feminine energy requires masculine energy to fully bloom and fully show up and fully unfold. How a woman will be like, oh, I feel so safe and secure. That's what I want in a man. It's like, yeah, that's because then you can truly be feminine. You need that masculine structure in order to fully embrace your feminine energy fully. And I know everyone, we can be feminine. I've always been feminine my whole life, but I'm just saying, to fully be your feminine energy and embody it, you need the masculine energy to allow that to come out. So it's just how energy works. It's not because masculine is better than feminine. It's really just that feminine energy is more complex and it requires more. I think women in general just require more than men in some ways. It does not mean one is better than the other. We are both equal in value. We're just very different in how we operate and how we are able to show up. So you do need a man. Stop listening to the feminists. I'm saying if you want to be truly in your feminine energy, if you want to truly regulate your nervous system, if you want to truly release and relax into your feminine energy, you cannot do that without a protector, without someone making you secure, safe, without someone holding that space, a masculine holding that space and creating that container for that. That's just how feminine energy is. It's a soft energy that cannot just fully unfold in the wild. Does that make sense? But it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful to understand how our energies work and how we need each other, because also the masculine energy, even though it could come first, is just an empty container without the feminine. The feminine brings so much to the picture, so much. It's not that one's better than the other. It's not a competition. It's just energy. So we do need each other. I will always need my husband, because I posted a short on YouTube a few months ago. It was like, you girls might not say you might not need a man, but I need mine. And it was like him fixing a light or something. But it's just so true. Like, life would suck without having your masculine. It would just, well, I know because I lived 23 years. Like, I mean, I dated here and there and blah, 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 blah. But to truly find your masculine counterpart as a woman changes everything. Like, you finally can fully be your feminine self. So, okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then I might have to go because Aurora does have to go to bed. I have to start getting her ready for bed in like 30 minutes and my nose keeps running. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm still doing it. I'm still showing up, you guys. Someone asked, how did you choose Asher's name? I like that it starts with an A like Aurora. Asher is actually in David's family line, in the male Palmer line, and it was like 7 generations ago. I can't remember how many that there was the last Asher Palmer. And I love the name Asher, actually. Like, I've always thought it was cute. And I like that it goes with Aurora's name because David really wanted a name like in his family line, but I'm like, I'm not going to just do any name. And there was no other name that I liked. Well, he suggested Asher first. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I love that. And then we looked for more names in the line. I was like, there's nothing else I like. I love Asher. So yeah, that's how we chose his name. And it goes well with Aurora. And I'm like the worst with boy names. I can't think of any boy names. Like, literally, I don't know what I would do for a boy name. Like, there's not many that I love, and I really love Asher. So I always like the name Beau, but I know that's not like, I would never probably name my son that, like Beau or something, Beau. But yeah, I would do that as like a middle name or something, not a first name. I can't think, I have so many cute girl names I love, but boy names are really hard. So I used to like the name Bodhi, but I like Asher. It goes with Aurora, and it just was meant for us. I feel like names really choose you in some way, and they just come to you. So it just feels like that, and it was meant to be. So I'm so excited to meet him. I think he's gonna be so chubby like Aurora. Someone asked, "What's your favorite and least favorite part of pregnancy?" My favorite part is it just feels so amazing and unexplainable to have life growing within you and feeling his kicks, and just it feels really magical and like a really high energy when you feel this life growing within you. It feels like a healing energy because babies, they do heal you. They've proven that with science, like their stem cells heal you, and it just feels very healing and just comforting. I don't know how to explain it else. It just feels like magical, and to always have someone with you, it's just like you're never alone. And I just feel protected by their energy because I feel like their soul is like with me, and I just love that. And I do love having the bump and the whole experience, even though it's like so uncomfortable sometimes. Like, the whole experience of being pregnant is just really magical and beautiful, and you just feel like really in your feminine energy because your hormones are so high, and like just like the most feminine thing you could go through, obviously. And you're just creating life, so it's very magical. I love that. And it's such a unique experience. Like, this is gonna be my last pregnancy. It's not like you experience this all the time. So it is exciting. It's exciting that to just watch them grow and that they're changing all the time and growing, and to meet them, it's just it feels like a miracle because it is. And my least favorite part is how uncomfortable it is towards the end, especially like to sleep is so hard because you have to sleep on your left side mainly when you're pregnant. They say right side too, but left side is the main side they want you to sleep on pregnant. Luckily, I have a little pregnancy pillow that I can still, because I'm still co-sleeping with Aurora, so I can't have my big pregnancy pillow. So my little pregnancy pillow that actually a brand sent me when I was pregnant with Aurora, I use that one now. And that helps a lot. But like that part's really hard, and like how you can't bend down really towards the end, and it's like painful. That's definitely easily the least favorite part. And honestly, I've seen the thing before, like, would you skip the first trimester? You can only skip two, the first, the second trimester, the third, or whatever. I don't know what it is. But the first trimester, I would rather skip than the third. Like, honestly, the first trimester for me is always the worst experience of my life because I am so sick. like it's when your hormones are just initiating, right? And like starting to surge in your body. And so your body is completely like shock. Well, like that's how I feel like my body's like in shock of all the new hormones. I feel like completely destabilized and just nauseous and like not myself. Like by the second, third trimester, you just are so used to the hormones that your body's acclimated and it's not like such a shock. But the first trimester is just like my body cannot handle it ever. I get so sick. I just feel horrible. First trimester is something that's the worst part of pregnancy for me. But since I'm now in the third one, it's just the uncomfort and the pain. But I literally would choose the third trimester over the first one any day. I rather look pregnant and be fully in my pregnancy than just the beginning. The beginning is just not my vibe. So glad I'll never go through another first trimester again. Watch me get. I'm not saying it. I'm not even putting that out there because I'm getting the copper IUD. I'm not risking it because I'm very fertile. So I'm not gonna. I know everyone tells me cycle track or whatever. That's the healthiest way, but it just takes one mistake, one slip up, one misread on the cycle track, or one accident. So I rather have more of a surety that I'm not going to and less stress. And so that's another thing I'm like super changed about is the whole holistic side. I'm very holistic, natural, like I love all that stuff, but being too holistic, too natural, it's just draining and it's actually like not a good way to live. It actually was lowering my quality of life and that's why I'm so glad I finally went on Lexapro when I was struggling a lot with my hormones everywhere because my quality of life is so much better not being so organic and natural and holistic. Sometimes medication or IUDs or whatever you have it is actually going to improve your overall health and quality of life and just everything than trying to be holistic all the time. I just feel like so many people have such a black and white view of everything and they want you to be 100% so spiritually and so holistic and everything. And it's like, I think the key to life is neutrality and being more as like least resistant on either end as possible, being more neutral, doing what works for you and embracing that because overall your health will be better if you're happier and you're less stressed. And if I won't get the IUD, the copper IUD, I'll be way more stressed, right? So you really have to weigh it that way instead of just being like, no, only natural, only holistic, and then you're just suffering in all these other areas. It's actually bringing down your health anyways. So it's actually the key to true health and happiness because happiness is a big key to health, right? Is to not be so rigid with the holistic, natural only side. Like people were tripping when I first posted those on like people were like, take saffron, like take lavender. Like obviously I've taken lavender, you guys, and saffron. But Lexapro is pinpointed specifically targeted for what I'm going through. It actually can create neurogenesis in your brain and regrow parts of your brain that have shrunk from trauma or long-term depression, which I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I've had depression a lot. I've had severe anxiety my whole life. And I'm finally addressing it. And that's another gift motherhood has given me is addressing all these things and finally fixing them all. So yeah, it's improved my quality of life so much and made me so much just better in so many areas of my life that it is the healthier option. So that's kind of like the ironic thing is that people are so scared of doing anything not natural, but it's actually like healthier to sometimes be a little bit more flexible. Flexibility is the thing that signifies health. If you're mentally flexible, that's what psychologists always say is like whoever's personality and um mental health is flexible means that they're healthy. If you're a very rigid personality, a very rigid person, that means you're unhealthy psychologically. So if you're able to go with the flow, you're able to be like, oh yeah, maybe I said that wrong, maybe I did that wrong. You're able to bend and understand other people. That means you're psychologically healthy, and that goes to any area of health. If you're flexible in all these areas, that means you're healthy. So being so holistic and health obsessed is actually unhealthy because you're not being flexible. You're not just letting things come and embracing different perspectives that might actually change your life completely for the better, just because it doesn't fit into your small, rigid view of what it should be. So that's the ironic thing. Someone asked, how has becoming a mother shifted your perspective on life? I mean, I think I've been talking about that a lot this, so maybe I don't need to answer that, but it's literally changed how I see everything. And I don't know. I just look at the people I knew before I had Aurora and how they're just doing a lot of the same stuff and still, going out, doing whatever. I don't know. I just see it as really meaningless and just see life differently and the meaning of life. I feel like I have so much more purpose, and I just see like it's the key to life. And if you're already past childbearing age and you didn't have children, it's not for everyone. So I'm not saying everyone needs to have children. I'm just more speaking to like, young millennials, Gen Zers around my age and stuff, and like the ones that will be my age soon, like to, instead of just following the propaganda to not have children, maybe reconsider because it could change your life for the better in every way and shift your perspective on everything. And yeah, it's just like the hidden gem, at least for me. It's not for everyone. Someone said, someone said, when did you discover astrology and how? My sibling got a book when I was like 8 or 9 about, astrology, just like the basics of the signs, and I read all the signs of everyone in my family and all the people I knew and then of mine. And I was like, this is so accurate. So I was like 9, I think. And I was like, from then on, I was like totally obsessed with astrology and in love with it and totally believed in it. Like there was no second guessing for me. I just felt it in my soul that it was real. And then in high school, I was on Twitter. I didn't even know about like your full birth chart yet, but people were talking about it a lot on Twitter, or some people I was following or whatever. And so then I finally calculated my birth chart for the first time in high school. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a Sag moon. Because I always knew about signs. I always like went off everyone's sun signs. But then when I was like, oh, I'm a Sag moon, like I love Sages. Like I'm such a Sag moon. Like, so I was like, I just loved it. And I loved finding out my whole chart. And then I would like, I had friends like when I was a dancer that were really a lot of girls were into astrology. So we would always do our charts, and like from then on, I was just like astrology obsessed and always thought about it, always needed to know everyone's sign, whatever. So always loved astrology since I can really remember, and I found out about it. Like just has always been my thing. Even, high school, everything. I always cared about it. When I was dating people, always thought about it, and like, yeah. It's always been something I've just intuitively known was real because I can just see it, and I've never second guessed for a minute if it's something that's not real. It's just like a science to me. It's very obviously true. I can guess people's signs all the time. People would trip out. Like, it's just very like something I can see. So it's real. So anyways, guys, this day has been really long. It's felt really imbalanced. I'm a Libra rising. I like the balance. It felt really off all day. I'm also a 6th house sun, so I like to have everything like very scheduled and routine. And it was just a mess today, and I just felt really off. And I still try my best to show up for you guys and push through. I hope this video is actually good. I hope I don't rewatch it and I look a mess or something, but whatever. Yeah, next week will be better. My nanny still won't be back from Europe next week, but we'll see how we can make it work. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it's my first time using this camera, so I hope it worked, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you all next week when I am another week pregnant.